Hi, Richard Wade with Papa TV with another segment of Man on the Street, but today we're not on the street, we're in a field, so it's going to be Man in the Field. And we're here for the annual Plow Days. Is it a festival, Judy?
No. It's a plow day to plow for someone who doesn't have the resources right now to plow. These farmers come out and donate their time.
Wow, that's the community coming together for the common good.
Fabulous, yeah.
Now, your full name and your background?
I'm Judith Stipe. I was born in Port Angeles way back. My family came to Port Angeles in 1898. I'm the executive director of the museum here. So I just love this history. These guys get their 1935, 1940 tractors out, and they come out and they plow for Teresa. Teresa has the pumpkin patch, and she also owns the theater in Port Angeles.
The what?
The theater in Port Angeles.
On the corner of Deer Park and 101?
Yes.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yes.
And for our viewers, we are currently at what's called the Pumpkin Patch at 101 and Kitchen Dick Road. So I think everybody that's passed by here has seen it several times. As a matter of fact, there's two simultaneous events taking place today, right? And what are those events?
She has a flea market every other Saturday, and of course the famous Plow Day. We're having a little trouble with the soil today, but you know what? These farmers, they persevere.
Now I understand that they normally have Plow Days a few weeks back, right? They're a little late this year.
We're late this year because the one of our farmers from the Beckevar Farms out in Blinn, he also is the head of the logging show for the irrigation festival. So when he first had time, the field was flooded, could not plow. Now it's dried out and it's rock hard. So they're having a little trouble today. But you know what? They'll stay till they get it done.
That's feast or famine, right?
Exactly. She's got to plant her corn for the corn maze, which is part of her economics to keep the farm open, and then pumpkin seeds. So,
now which Beckevar, Jim or Dave?
On the big green John Deere, that's Dave Beckevar, and his father, Dick Beckevar, is standing over there, and his son Eli Beckevar just brought more oil and filter for the tractor.
You might know the answer to this. How long has the Beckevar farm been in existence? 105 or 6 years?
It's like 107 to 117.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I can get the real answer for you, but yeah, it's an amazing thing. Generation after generation, 5 generations are out there.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How long have they been doing Plow Days?
You know, I think we're on about our 9th year. The first year was just a bunch of plows and we didn't advertise. But I think we're on about our 9th year. We put a poster out, we advertise, and usually we have lots of tractors show up. But this year, there's so many events going on that it's difficult to get the old boys out.
We're all getting older.
No, you are?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not. I'm not.
I can tell. Now, I recall seeing some of the old vintage restored tractors at the irrigation festival and on display at the
Yes.
summer fair over at the fairgrounds.
Yes.
Those are the guys that usually show up here to show their wares and play with their tractors, right?
Yes, they do. And if you notice the old clee tracks and some of the old ones that are rusty, we call that old rust and old iron. Now, I personally call the guys that drive them old rust and old iron, but they love their tractors. And we've got a guy from Eastern Washington that runs Harvest Day in Davenport, and all the profits from their Harvest Day support their museum also. And as a museum director, I love these farmers because of what they do from day after day after day.
Where specifically is the museum? Is there an address to the museum?
Yes. The Squim Museum and Arts, we have 3 buildings. We have the Dungeness Schoolhouse, the 125-year-old schoolhouse. She's an active member of our community by having events there. We have our display center at 175 West Cedar Street. And then we're building a new museum on North Squim Avenue. So we're into it. We're into it.
So your museums are predominantly in the Sequim Carlsberg area?
Yes. Sequim Museum and Arts.
Okay. I've been in the schoolhouse. It's a beautiful building. I've been there for meetings, for events. It's gorgeous. It's fantastic. It's a great location. It just, people need to go out. If nothing else, they need to go by there and see that building because of the history behind it.
We put in an elevator so it's more easily accessible, put in a lot of stuff. We have one of the best venues for weddings and parties, and so we love it. It supports our other two buildings.
As I recall, of course, I have CRS, so maybe I don't recall, there's a classroom actually set up the way.
Yes.
Tell us about that classroom.
Yeah. It's an old heritage classroom with the original desks, and we stuffed the teacher. No, that's a mannequin, really. But you walk in that room and you think, oh, geez. But it has everything that was there when the children were going to school there. 3 members of our board on the Sequim Museum and Arts board went to school there. And when it closed back in, I believe, 55, oh, my memory's bad. Then they all came into the Sequim School District and the school closed down.
You know, you are a plethora of information, and I would love to do a follow-up story with you in the future about the museum specifically. So
I would love it. And I've never been called a plethora, but that sounds...
You've been called a plethora today.
That is so cool. Thank you so much.
You like it?
Tell us when the pumpkins will be ready for.
The pumpkins are ready just before Halloween. When she opens the corn maze, the pumpkins will come on.
Now, I've driven by here over the years, and I've seen pumpkins here, and I've seen corn here.
Yes.
And Dana was telling me, he's out there on that little orange tractor. I didn't know about that field over here to the right. My right, anyway. That's where they rotate the crops, right? So the pumpkins are there once in a while, and then they're back over here, and then the corn's over there, and it's back over here. So that's how it works?
Yes, and as you know, with the smell behind us, the pigs come here in the winter, and they eat a lot of, and they're right in this area where the corn goes down.
Now I've got to ask that question. What pigs are you talking about?
The 4-legged ones. She runs pigs here. She grows chickens. She's an amazing little woman, and we'll try to. Teresa is such a person that she's just like us old farmers. She really is.
And you're going to introduce us to Teresa, right?
Yes, we are. She's beautiful, and she is so darn workaholic. She's a great person.
Well, the concept of what they're doing out here for her today, she's obviously a very blessed person also, because this is the community coming together to help a fellow landowner or farmer prepare her, in this case, her field for crop.
We love her, and when we are bonding with people, we go out. Now, one year when the tractors were having trouble in the mud and they were getting stuck, it was a symphony. One tractor would stop, and they'd all jump off of theirs and go over and help. It's just an amazing thing. I'm proud to be part of it. So.
Well, we come here today to showcase what you guys are doing, because I think it deserves that attention.
Oh, definitely.
And again, I want to do a follow-up with all your museum stuff.
Okay.
So
I'll find you a car.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It was a
I
pleasure.
loved it.
We're not done. I'm not letting go, because we're going to go find Teresa next.
Anytime we can talk about our heritage on the prairie and in this area, we are proud. Thank you.
Well, I'm proud to be a resident of Clallam County for that reason. Thank you. Hi, I'm here with Dana Davis, right, Dana?
Correct.
And he's going to tell us a little bit about his tractor. His, I called it, what did I call it? A Caterpillar?
A Caterpillar.
I almost got shot for calling it a Caterpillar. The man takes his tractor seriously, so we're going to hear from Dana now as to what he's got here, how long he's had it, and all the information pertaining to this little beast sitting behind me here. Dana?
Well, originally it's a cleat track, was made in Cleveland, Ohio, and in 1944 the Oliver Corporation bought out the cleat track, and they kept the cleat track name up until the 50s, and it was Oliver Cleat Track. And this tractor happened to come from California, and it had a bad engine, and I found an engine, got it running, and painted it. So they were pretty popular down in the San Joaquin Valley. They had pretty good dealers down there, and so.
How long you had it?
I've had it about 10 years.
Are you from here locally or from somewhere else? I just met a gentleman that's from the east side of Washington that's here for this event today, so I'm just curious.
Well, I wasn't born here, but I've been here a long time.
Put a number on it.
72 years.
Wow, 72 years. That's fabulous. What are we doing here today?
Well, we're trying to plow, but as you can see, we're not having very much success because there's too much trash and it hooks up on the plow, and we're spending more time on doing it. We're kind of behind the 8 ball about 2 weeks, but then it should have been chopped with a chopper to chop up these stalks because they lay around the shears and they plug up.
Well, we're gonna get her done, right?
I don't know. I'm not taking it to the bank.
Now, it's my understanding this is a bunch of guys from the valley here coming together for the common good and helping Teresa out with prepping this field.
And except we don't have very good turnout with the regular guys. I mean, usually we got about 8 tractors and 8 plows, and the trouble is we have that many, and when you can plow, it don't last very long. So I don't know, I got to talk to Teresa and say, we're not accomplishing anything. We might go in the pumpkin patch that didn't have and go down there and plow, but it's just a bunch of old farm boys that started collecting tractors of what we used to run when we were on the farm, and then the plows, and then we said, well, gee, we ought to go plow somewhere.
I've got some space needs plowing. Can you come up there and plow my place for me?
I don't know.
So when you guys aren't plowing a field, are y'all getting together and playing with the little miniature John Deeres and stuff? No, I've seen some impressive collections of toy tractors by some collectors here in the area.
Like I said, we grew up with this old iron, and it's just kind of nostalgic and show the newer generation how we used to do it 50, 60 years ago.
I love the way you refer to it as old iron and not a tractor. That's really neat.
So,
where'd that come from?
I don't know. Just talking about old iron, and the guy you interviewed before, I got to know him 20 years ago at an old iron meet down in Sacramento, California, and he talked about a vintage harvest, and one set of grandparents had a wheat farm, and when I got old enough, I used to go over there and help them, and then he said, well, we have this vintage harvest and the old combines, and I was hooked.
I have an old iron at home too, and it's one of those you heat up and put it to do your clothes with.
Yeah. So anyhow, a bunch of us, we go over to Davenport. That's where this plow came from, Davenport. I mean, we go over there, and those guys say, oh, gee, you keep packing our old iron off, you're going to sink. And we said, well, but what really happened about 5 years ago when the price of scrap was high, a lot of this stuff just disappeared.
That's sad.
Forever.
Yeah, that's sad.
So,
Dana? Thank you for your time, sir.
You bet.
And you're a gentleman for coming out here and volunteering your time and your equipment to try to get this field ready for Teresa.
Yeah, we'd like to get it done. I mean, that's that's the whole purpose, to help somebody and get to use our old stuff. So.
Well, I'm holding you up, so we're going to take off and find Teresa.
Okay.
Thanks again. Teresa.
Yes.
What's going on here today? Tell me what's going on and how often do you guys do this?
Well, once a year we do the Plow Days. It's been about 3 years in a row so far. This year about a month late because the weather's been so wet. And then we have a flea market going on that we've been doing on the first and third Saturday, May through September. So.
Now, I've been here before, where your flea market's at right now, for car shows. You also have car shows here, right, in the summertime?
We have had several, but that's put on by Crossing Church, and they're no longer doing that. But
Oh, that's too bad, because I enjoyed the car shows too.
a lot of people do. Maybe they'll pick it up again, or somebody else will. But no, we enjoyed that.
So I talked to some folks already over there that I'm assuming are your friends, or they wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Tell me about what they're doing over there for you.
They're plowing our cornfield right there. They're a bunch of old-time farmers from around here that have been here for many years, and they're helping us plow our fields today.
Now, in years past, I've seen a lot more tractors here and a lot more equipment here. I understand that the weather set you guys back a little bit.
About a month, yes. So there's guys that come from Eastern Washington with their equipment and stuff.
That's incredible. So they come all the way from the east side of this state to come out here and help you plow your fields.
Yeah, it's pretty nice of them, yes.
It's very nice of them. How long is your family, or how long have you owned this property? This is a large property. How many acres is this?
About 30.
Okay.
Gosh, my dad bought it, I think, back in the 80s, but been just doing the pumpkin patch since 99. So my dad did a lot of, he loved the dirt, so he loved doing the tractors and loved the animals, so he originally bought it to build a theater on, drive-in theater. And drive-ins went obsolete by the time.
This was going to be a drive-in theater?
Yes. He owned the drive-in theater in Port Angeles, and Kmart bought that. And so by the time Kmart bought it, though, it was obsolete. Drive-ins were not out making any money, so.
So, did you grow up here? This is where you grew up?
No. I lived here till I was about 10. So, and then.
And now you're back.
I'm back. I've been back for about 16 years. So. Yeah.
Do you love the dirt? Like your dad loved the dirt?
I do. I love the farm. Yeah.
I also understand you love pigs.
I do. I turned that over to one of my gals that's a bit younger than me because it's a lot of work. But yeah, I do love pigs. They're smart animals.
Like dogs?
Smarter than dogs, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, they say that they are, and I believe so.
Wait a minute, the pigs say they're smarter than dogs, or someone else said they're smarter than dogs?
Yeah, people say that, and I think it depends how smart they're trained to be.
I'm intrigued by this old period facade you have back here. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
It was just something my dad liked to build. Roger Smith that owned Sunny Farms was real good friends with my dad, and between the two of them, they just decided each year to do a 20 by 20 and just kind of kept on adding on to it. And so it's our kitchen, and during October we opened this up. It's cleaned up a bit right now. It's pretty dirty.
Oh, so it's functional?
We use that as a store and a kitchen. We sell kettle corn, and it's the boardwalk's open during October, so you pick pumpkins.
How does it make you feel to know that all these guys took the time out to come and help you prepare your field for, what are we going to plant this year over here? Pumpkins?
Pumpkins,
And then the corn's going to go on the other field to the right?
Yes.
It must feel really great to have folks care about.
Yeah, they're just like family. I mean, my dad had some really good friends, and it's just, I feel really blessed to be able to have them do this for me. Yeah.
I'm having to assume that your father must have passed away.
Yes, about a little over 2 years ago.
I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sure he was a great guy.
Yeah.
And is that the motivation, or is that what is driving you now to keep this thing alive and keep it going?
Yeah, and the community just loves it. We have so many people that return every year that say you can't close, you got to keep it going, and I look around and it's a lot of work. Sometimes I think, oh gosh, I'm going to do it, but it's like days like today, it makes it all worth it.
Exactly. When you have friends like that come together for the common good, how can you not do it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the landmark here, really, isn't it? The pumpkin, the lid. And I've seen a big raised school bus here during pumpkin season where they're giving kids rides in that thing or something.
We have field trips during October, so field trips. Kids come from, those are school buses that just come from all over.
Well, the one I've seen is like raised up really high, and they get on at some point.
We used to have draft horses, yes, and they would do draft wagon rides around the corn maze.
Okay. Now, when does your next big season start with your pumpkin patch stuff?
We usually are ready by October 1st, and sometimes, at the end of September, if we can get things, opened in time.
Well, I've seen the cars here, and when you're selling the pumpkins, it's packed, and the kids are here, and it looks really festive, and I wish you the best this season.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'm standing here with Teresa and Florenzio, and according to Teresa, Florenzio has some really delicious tamales, and I know for a fact that to find really good Mexican food on the peninsula is pretty tough. So I'm going to have Florenzio fire me up one of his famous tamales, and we're going to do a taste test because I'm kind of a connoisseur of Mexican food. Yeah?
Yeah. Chicken or pork?
How long you been here doing this?
Oh, this is not long ago. This is just a couple years.
And how long have you lived in the area?
Since in 1984.
And how long you been selling your tamales?
Oh, a couple years ago.
Just here or somewhere else?
Yes, here.
Wow. And Teresa was telling me that people come here specifically to the flea market to eat or buy your tamales.
They like it. They come and they know the day, and they recognize for my umbrella.
Yeah.
They look from the one, and if they see, they say, "Oh, their tamales there."
Teresa, have you had his tamales?
Oh, every time we have a flea market, I have it. It's my breakfast. Chicken is my favorite. With the fresh salsa is excellent.
Well, we're gonna have one each right now and see what's going on. Okay. Fire us up 2 of your tamales.
All right.
Two specials. We're gonna have 2 specials here. Hang on. What else is here on a regular basis while Florencio is firing up our tamales? Don't run away from me. You can't get away from this microphone.
The flea market is here the first and third Saturday, May through September. So that's about what we have regular until October, when we have the you pick pumpkins and corn maze and animals, and lots of fun in October.
Earlier you kind of broke my heart because, hang on, bud. What's the salsa and stuff you were talking about?
There's a green salsa with avocados in it, is my favorite. But then there's a red one too. So.
Well, if you don't mind, why don't you go over there and prepare our tamales? I'll take the green. It sounds like it's the best one, probably. Florenzio, turn around here for me, bud. Who makes these? You or your wife?
My wife.
The truth comes out. They do make women know how to make them tamales, don't they?
They growing up, watching grandma, mom, how cook. The men in Mexico, we never be in the kitchen. And that's the reason just I come to sell for her.
Now, are we having beef, chicken, or pork?
It's pork and chicken.
Oh, excellent. I think you have a customer. I'm going to get around here and talk to her real quick. Come here. Oh, please. Okay, talk from there.
She's got warrants out.
Never mind.
There you go. There's one.
Okay, we've got one tamale here, and I'm waiting for Teresa to get her tamale before we give it the taste test. Come along.
I've already had mine.
Is this the way you prepare them all the time?
Yes. Yes, this is it. Yes.
Right. So here we go. I'm going to put Mike down for a second.
Okay.
Again.
I got this one first. Camera.
One.
I just unplugged. Technical difficulties. I stepped on the mic cord. That's a good tamale.
How's the salsa?
The salsa's good. Why don't you go back and throw some of that red stuff on there for me so I can see what the red stuff's
sure,
about.
we'll do that.
Here. Yeah, the guacamole is with the onion. All right, John. It's really good. Just right a little more. So here we go again. I'm doing another taste test. Florenzi, you're a lucky man to have a wife that can make a tamale that good.
I choose a good one, eh?
She's a good wife, yeah. Very good wife. Nice job, bud. Thank you. When you come to the flea market, the first and third Saturday of each month, make sure you come to see Florenzi and get one of these delicious tamales because they are good. I am here with Judy and Bob, and we're going to talk about this beautifully restored N9 Ford tractor that happens to be on sale for the first $150 that gets here in the next 3 seconds.
Oh, quit.
Let me.
Well, time's up. Tell us about your tractor, Bob.
Well, it's actually a 1941 Ford 9N. The 9N came out in about 1939, and then the 2N came out in after about 42, and then they jumped up to 8N, which came out in about 1948. Then they changed to a Jubilee, I think, or something like that, another name. But it's a 41, and I was born in 44, so it's a pretty old monster. But it runs great, starts perfect. I use it on my property, Squim Bay, a little bit just to move some, pull my trailer around, working on some wood pile for my neighbor and whatnot. But I do have a blade for it, and I push gravel and dirt around and clear some land a little bit. But it works fine.
Now, you say you're using it on your own property, but I see a for sale sign on the front. Tell us more about what you're asking for it and how they can contact you if they're interested in purchasing this, and the implements that you have for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's I'm asking about $2,200 for it, and it's for sale. I have this is my second one. I have a 1953 for Ferguson that my dad passed away. He gave it to me, and so I don't really need two of them. I have the repairs on my other one. I use it primarily for pulling logs and things like that. A little bit huskier than this model, but we use it to pull different items, implements. But my trailer, it holds a little bit of wood, like I mentioned before.
That comes with the tractor, the trailer?
No, my blade is coming from for my other Ferguson tractor.
Does the blade come with this one?
No, the blade does not come with this one. For this price, $2,200. It's a steal of a price, and for today only, or maybe I'll extend it for a week. So you better grab it fast.
At what? 2,000? 1,500?
22.
22. Okay, 22 is the price for this very clean Ford N9 tractor. I noticed you're wearing a Vietnam vet hat, and I know you're not wearing it because it's a cool hat to wear. You're wearing it because you're proud of your service.
Yes, I am.
And we want to thank you for your service, because you guys did a great service to the country and the future of this place we call United States of America.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Judy.
I'm the reason he's getting rid of this tractor. I want room in the garage to buy me some, something really cool like a Corvette or a 1947 red Chevy pickup truck.
It's funny you say that, because I bought a pool table that was probably worth $3,000 for $300 because the wife wanted it out so she could have office space right over here across the street.
Very good. You have a very smart wife. Good choice.
No, not my wife, someone else's wife. I bought the pool table.
Oh, Well, either way, wives are very smart.
So, since you're selling his tractor, can I get it for $300?
No, I'm sorry. No, he needs that because you never know. I might need him to build another garage. You know, he needs the money. He does. He really does.
I don't believe that. You know, wrapping this whole thing up, first of all, it's our first time here, and I'm just so impressed with the fact that the community is coming together to help Teresa, volunteering their time, volunteering their equipment, volunteering their fuel. And you don't do that on a whim. That's from the heart and from the soul of small town Americana. And this is truly a great example of what that's all about, isn't it?
It really is. You know, so many of us have grown up together. We brought Teresa in our fold because we share what we have and she shares back. And this guy has been a farmer since he was 5 years old. His parents were farmers. And he does so much for both the museum and Plow Day and anybody that needs it. And not only can he do a lot, I'm keeping him because he can do a lot in the yard and everything, but he works the computer and he can make posters. He's valuable. Very valuable.
Renaissance man.
His name is Bob, but he's a jack of all trades, huh?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I've had him 54 years. Actually, I met him in the 5th grade when we came to school in Squim, and the plaid shirt kind of did it for me, and the cords. Of course, the cords made the noise when you walk by. So he stood out amongst the other farmers.
You're talking about corduroy pants, aren't you?
Yes, of course.
The big heavy corduroy that rubbed together and kind of wore out in the inner thighs.
Yes.
And I remember that.
Yes, and made a lot of noise. So, and you know, we've had property here since 1963 in Clallam County, been taxpayers, and we've gone away in the military. We've been all over the world, lived in Europe. We came here every summer to bring our children here to see the kind of safe, a naive, innocent environment that we grew up in. You can't buy that anywhere. It's been amazing, and every time we live in a big city, we can't wait to get back to the beach and the green.
I moved here about 4 years ago, and this is paradise. I love it. It's an amazing place to live. You know, we have the Juan de Fuca just a few miles to the north. We have the Olympic Mountains just to our south. It truly is paradise, and the folks here are so warm and so welcoming. I would encourage all of our viewers, especially those viewing us on the World Wide Web, if you want an amazing time, an amazing vacation, and a beautiful setting, you need to come to the Olympic Peninsula and experience what we get to experience on a daily basis. So that's going to wrap this show up, and we'll see you on the next episode of Man on the Street.